Welcome to The Painful Life. Today I am going to attempt to make sourdough and film it. So hopefully that will go well. I just did the first part of putting some sourdough in the oven, and I'll splice it and all that fun stuff and put it together. But I am using the recipe from the Preppy Kitchen, the amazing sourdough bread recipe. And he is a great place, a great resource if you want to get the, it's more in-depth and stuff. And he's actually finding that the Preppy Kitchen is a really good resource to find in-depth, understandable, not too technical recipes, and he's really great personality. So John Kendall, the prepper is kitchen. I'll try to make it sourdough. This is just the basic. You can always do add-ins. I like to do rosemary in mine. I have some rosemary in my garden. You can use other herbs into it, making an herb bread. You can do whole wheat excuse me, you can use whole wheat bread flour, you can use plain bread flour, you can use just plain all-purpose flour, you can use rye, you can do all different types of flour to use your starter or put in your bread. Just kind of experiment and see how you like it. This is just the basic recipe, which is 1.5 cup or 120 grams of starter, which I have some over there, one cup and 1/3 cup or 310 grams of water. Make sure it's filtered. You can chance doing it out of the tap, but you might end up killing your starter if you're using it for your starter, or in your thing you might make it go a little more flat. You might kill your you need your little guys, little germs, your yeast to work. So avoid using that. Use bottled water if you can, or if you have some filtered water, use that because you don't want the chlorine to kill your little soldiers. 4 cups plus 2 tablespoons or teaspoons or 500 grams of flour bread. Like I said, you can use all-purpose flour. You can use any type of flour, but the bread flour has a higher protein, and it helps with the not the sponginess, but the gluten and everything, and it helps it get bubbles and all that fun stuff. So it works really good. And then 2 tablespoons of salt. That's it. You don't need a lot. It's basically starter, water, flour, and salt. That's it to make a sourdough, and some time. So you can actually make your own starter or buy your own starter. This one, excuse me, this one I got about 3 months ago from my brother-in-law when I went up and visited him in Wisconsin. Thank you, Ken. I am using this and enjoying it, and you can see it's very bubbly. Smells very, very yeasty. And I put like 2 tablespoons of flour in here yesterday and 2 tablespoons of water. And you can also, if you want to be more precise, you just scale, and that way you can do as much. And I'm going to use most of this, and then I might make some waffles later on with the discard and then restart some. But as long as you have a little bit, you can get these things restarted quite easily. And for the most part, they're pretty forgiving. But if you do kill one, it just takes about a week to remake your own. And I haven't actually made it myself, but I have seen a lot of the ones showing you how to make it. And I believe the Preppy Kitchen actually has a video showing you how to make it as well. It's basically you just put a tablespoon of water, tablespoon of flour, leave it in there for a day. And then you add a little more flour and a little bit more water at equal portions each day, and just let it go for about a week. And then, each day you just add a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more until you start collecting the yeast from your house and it starts to make a sourdough starter. That's basically how you do it. I'm sure there's more technical ways and more, but that's basically how you do it. It's like tablespoon each day. You're feeding it. You continue letting the air get into it and forming your sourdough starter. Flour and water. That's it. Let's move this around a little bit. I'm going to try, I should really get another camera and have 2 different point of views and then put them together. I'm going to try to do showing how to do it, showing my face and all that fun stuff, because I'm still learning this stuff, and that's why I'm keeping all of this stuff in there, so you can kind of see the process of if you're wanting to do some videos and some filming of food or anything like that, you can kind of see how I'm learning along the way. And I'm sure maybe down a year line, if I'm still doing food off and on, I'm sure I'll get some more equipment, and that way I'll also start filming both ways, so you can kind of see it long form, and then maybe see where you'd cut it about right here, and then you show your food getting mixed, and then you cut it back and show yourself. You can do it with just one phone. It just takes a lot, and a lot of times you're in the process of doing something and you might forget. So if you forget, don't worry, I'll just make it part of the video. So let's get started. All right. Cut, edit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm gonna move this down. I have my tripod. Get a better view. Swing that over. Bring this out. Make sure it's clean. I did swipe it down. On my dirty dishes, I might want to move my dishes. Oh, I'm gonna Got some Clean Freak. Get that out of the shop. Don't need to get any salmonella. Anything that might be seen. And look, people go, ew, did you notice that was on there? All right, now we're gonna need one bowl, one dirty scale. Let's not spray over the bowl, which we'll be putting food in. Let's pretend that I actually clean this every single time I use it. Scale. A couple cups of flour. Some yeast. That's basically it. A bowl, yeast, flour, salt, and water. I'm going to leave that over here. All right. And now we're going to pretend that you didn't just see all the prep work, because, you know, why not? I don't feel like we're going to put it in. Who knows? There's people who's getting started and just kind of needs an idea where to get started. So, not furry sourdough, but for your sourdough. Oh, sourdough. I'm actually going to do some green chilies in this one. Add some shredded cheese, but whatever you got left over. So I'm going to do a green chili and cheese for this sourdough. But yeah, whatever add-ins you want. So flour, sourdough, salt, and water is all you need, and then just whatever type of add-ins you want. A scale really helps. I'm going to set that. And I'm going to set it to grams. I'm going to zilt it out. And then first off, let's grab our little cheat sheet. Most professionals don't actually show you looking on your little thingy, your handwritten scribble. I actually wrote this 3 times because the first couple times was half of it was missing, and the other time I couldn't read half of it. So, you know, you might actually want to see this halfway down, and this is just what I kind of got off of the prepper kitchen. So first off, we are going to do a 1.5 cup of the starter. And you can always mix it up a little bit. I like to use chopsticks. Whatever you put in there, make sure it's clean, because you're just adding more, not really bacteria, but you know the goodnesses of what makes it. So make sure you're only adding good stuff. And then we want 120 grams. Whoops, that's 150. 125. All right, good enough. Keep that, because I can use that for mixing. So sourdough is taken care of, and we will zero that out. And now we need a 1 1/3 cup, or 360 grams of water filtered. That is about 1 cup. And that is at 260, 1/3. Sometimes I will write down this stuff wrong. And that was about 350 on that one. So, you know, you adjust it a little bit as needed, but that ain't gonna hurt much. But that, yeah, so a little over, probably 1/4 would be good as well, depending on, whatever. Like I said, sometimes between cups and grams, they can be off quite a bit. So if you have the option, just use grams. If you have a scale, it makes things a lot easier. And so now we need 4 and 2 teaspoons or 500 grams of flour. I'm actually going to use some, I have some all-purpose flour I've used. And I'm going to use, let me get a cup. And I do about 80 of the brown flour, the whole wheat. Because I want a little extra stuff. So about 80. Yeah, that's about 80. And I'm using the Ron's Chief Wheat Mountain Flour Premium. And it's about $7. $7 something. This stuff was just the local food club over at my Macy's. And so this way you don't have to worry about flour being compacted if you do the grams. 240 is another cup. 340. Or 60. And 520. Good enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. That's about 2 tablespoons. I've actually measured it like 2 or 3 times, and I've never had it being too much or too little. But yeah, if you have the salt, you use fine salt. This is what I have. It's a little more coarse salt. It tastes just as good. So use a measuring thing if you have it. But I didn't want to have to grind it, put it on a piece of paper, pour it onto a tablespoon thingy, and then go and put it in there and shake it again. It makes a mess. So that's all you need for that. So get rid of that. So we got the flour, we got the water, we got the starter, and we got the salt. And that's all you really need to get started. And then we're just gonna mix it up a little bit. Oh, I forgot to add this. I'm gonna open these and shred some of this, and the magic of not filming it, we're gonna come back and we'll have the stuff we want. Alright, let's see if I need to adjust that some. Trying a different angle. See if I like any of the other ones. Alright, we're gonna put this in here. Oh, I'm not sure I want to put in there, if I want to put the whole thing or just a little bit. Also, if you're putting stuff in that's a little more gunky and juicy, you might have to add a little extra flour. Oh, and then let's add some cheese. And then save some cheese for the top as well. I don't know if it will burn with the Dutch oven, but we'll see. Yeah, we just want to mix it until it comes together into a shaggy dough. And then you're just going to let it sit. I think I'm going to put a little bit more of the... Might save a little bit for my eggs. And that's basically your shaggy dough. And yeah, it looks awful. But you're going to let it sit for half hour and an hour. And then you can come in with some clean hands with a little water on it and fold it over, turn it, fold it over, turn it, and fold it over. And then you're going to do that like 4 times, like every hour. You're going to turn it and fold it. And by the end of the 4 hours, it's going to look like a ball of dough. It should. Sometimes it works. Sometimes I have to add more flour. But yeah, so let's see how that is. And then, you know, you can always just kind of move it around a bit, get some of that extra flour. And just, but you want it kind of shaggy. And it's kind of gooey right now. Let the flour soak up all the stuff. And okay, once you have your shaggy dough put together, all you have to do is get a clean towel or whatever you got laying around that's somewhat clean. Put it over the top and put it to the side for at least a half hour. And then you're gonna do a fold over, a fold over, a fold over, and then a fold over. And then you're gonna let it sit for another hour, and then you do it. So, you know, you can do this often. It doesn't have to be every hour on the hour. Basically, whenever you remember it. method does take quite a bit of time, but like I said, you're doing it the day before, and a lot of times I'll do it before I go to work, and then I'll just leave my dad a message and say, hey, can you go and fold the bread when you get up? He'll come downstairs, and I'll make it, because it only takes like 10 minutes, if that, to actually get it started and made. And then I'll go and have my breakfast, and then I'll do the first fold over, and then if I have time before I leave, I'll do a second fold over, and then I'll text my dad and tell him, can you do another fold over when you get up, and then another fold over later in the afternoon, and then just put it in the fridge. And so when I get home in the evening, I'll just take it out of the fridge, form it into a dough, put it on some parchment, clean the bowl that I just used, put it back in the bowl, and put it back in the fridge till the next day, till I want to bake it. And I'll either bake it in the morning or in the evening, whenever. Sometimes I'll even make it that day. I'll just put it out, leave it out in a warm area for an hour, and then bake it for dinner or something like that. So once you get your time in, once you do it your 4 or 5 times, you can let it rise for an hour and do it the same day. It's a little more flavorful the longer it sits like in the fridge and stuff, because it'll slow down the proofing thingy, and it'll give it more time to get the flavors to develop. Okay, I just washed my hands and they are still kind of wet. So let's do the first fold on this thing. And this is what the bread looks like after it's sat for about 45 minutes to an hour. Like I said, it don't have to be the first 30 minutes. The timing doesn't have to be perfect. It's a good thing about sourdough. It's quite forgiving, and looks like most of the flour has soaked in nicely. So you're just gonna take it, fold it, take it, fold it, take it, and fold it, and take it one more time, and fold it. And that's just the first fold, and it's already starting to smooth out a little bit. And then the more you do it, then after an hour I'll do it again. Ooh, I can smell the green onions. After an hour I will do it again, and then I'll come back an hour later and do it again. I'll do it maybe 3 to 4 times, and then I will flour this, put it down there, and then form it into a ball and make it as tight as I possibly can. Clean this bowl, flour the bowl, put some parchment in it, and then throw the dough in it and let it, and then I'll throw it in the fridge, or if I want to bake it up right away, then I will let it rise for an hour in a warm place. So you can, do it right away, or you can let it sit and develop its flavors more, whatever you want to do, whatever time you have. Because you can do this the day before, the morning. It's like if you're doing all this stuff and then you get sidetracked and you just don't have time, throw it in the fridge. And just put some saran wrap over it and deal with it tomorrow. So yeah, that's all you have to do. And once you get that folded over, take your handy dandy ugly towel it used to be a towel that you cut in and turned into a big old rag, put it somewhere, and just let it go, and then go have your breakfast with the other sourdough you just made. So we'll come back and fold it again, and we'll get to see how it is. Okay, round 2 of the dough. It's looking good. I'm gonna just kind of fold, twist, turn, fold, twist, turn, fold, twist, turn, and fold. And you can see most of the dough has been picked up. You can also just kind of smack it. Always add a little extra flour if it's a little dry or a little too wet, or vice versa. If it's too dry, add more water to your hands, and then just keep on doing it. So I'm gonna do that a couple more times, then I'll come back and do the final forming. Clean the bowl out, and then put some parchment in it, flour it a little bit, and throw it in the bowl, and let it do its final proofing, and then we'll put it in the oven. All right, it has been a day and a half, 2 days almost, and I've had this in the fridge. I did already form it into a somewhat of a ball. I totally forgot to film it, of course, because professional here. But you can use just a simple bowl to form it. I have a you know, kind of a tight woven cloth. I have done this once before, but I didn't leave it in as long. I did flour it, but I don't know. Hopefully it won't stick. We're going to find out. But yeah, I left it in the fridge. You can leave, you know, you can have some of these pre-made ones and leave it in your fridge for, for like 2 or 3 days or so, and then bake it up when you need it. And as long as you're leaving it in a pretty cold area, it's pretty forgiving. Lessons. But you can see it kind of bounces back. We'll have to see about make sure this isn't going to fall flat. Oh, I've got a hair in here. I don't want to eat that. Let's not eat the hairs. But we're going to see if this will work or not. That was the basic recipe that I made before. Added some green onion and some cheese to it as well. So there's a little bit more liquid. We're going to see if this does anything different. And I'm also going to change the temperature. Normally on the Preppy Kitchen, he recommends 500 degrees in a Dutch oven. Heat up your oven and your Dutch oven in there and get it scorching hot. And then put your bread in there on some parchment paper and then just put it in the Dutch oven. You're covering it and cooking it for 20 minutes at 500, and then you're going to take the temperature down and take the lid off and continue to cook it for another 20 minutes. I did the same thing, but my bread comes out a little bit harder. I don't know if it's the altitude because I am way up high, or just my oven is weird, or my Dutch oven is really thick and so it has the heat. Conducts heat really, really well, and a little bit too much. It comes out really well, and the inside is perfect, but the bottom is usually a little more cooked than I normally would like, and it makes it very hard to cut sometimes. And I have a really old, crappy bread cutter, so I might just need a new one. But I have noticed the bottoms are a little bit, they're not exactly burnt, but they're a little darker. So depending on where you're at, if your bread's coming out too dark or too stuff, just adjust your temperatures. You know, bring it down by 25 degrees and then do your 20 minutes and then bring it down to like 425 and see if that works. You might just have to adjust the temperature. It's still gonna taste good as long as you don't completely forget about it and leaving it in the oven. And so let's do that. I am going to get some flour. Hold on. All right, I'm gonna get some parchment. If it's just the plain paper, I don't want any wax. This is good burnt wax. Yeah, so I'm just gonna do this and put it on my cutting board. Let's tip this down a little bit. Belly. All right, so we're gonna take this, and hopefully, normally you'd have like a certain type of material or type of thing that you can use for your bread. You might have a bread basket. As long as it's really tight woven, you're less likely to have any things. I'm gonna get me some better stuff down the road, but that's what I have. Let's see if hopefully it didn't stick. That was flop. And it's a little bit flat. I think I smacked that thing a little bit too good. But, oh, I forgot to put flour on it. Hence for the reason I'm getting the flour out. Alright, well, let's just do a little wheat flour then. I think I just messed that up a little bit, but work and pretend I'm a professional and know what I'm doing. That's just some extra flour. I'm gonna pump it up a bit. Once you bake it, it's gonna puff up as well. And you can actually put it in there just like that, really. And as cold, I've known people who've done that as well. And I've done it before, just put it in cold, and it does good. But I'm gonna, while I'm letting my oven heat up and my big old Dutch oven. Ooh, let's not burn myself. I have that thing on actually. I have one of these ones. These are the nice fancy ones. And if you have a really fancy one, you're gonna burn the inside of it. And make sure you have some sort of trivet or other type of fancy board that you don't mind sacrificing. This is my fancy sourdough lid holder. Because you can see, you will burn it. So if you're gonna put it on wood, you might burn your wood a little bit. So let's put that on. I'm gonna do it up to 420. What is that? 450. Like I said, I had it at 4 500, my last two one, and they turned out right. I had to bring down the temperature a little bit more on my sourdough because I was like burning it because it was just, my oven was either too good or the Dutch oven is just too thick and it was baking it way too fast. So just adjust as needed. So today I'm going to try it at 425. And yes, I haven't done this recipe before. I haven't adjusted the things and tried it. So I am doing this as is. We're going to see if I did it right. If it doesn't, well, you're going to see my mess ups. I think I'm just going to do my food. Oh, I guess I don't have to bend over. I'm going to do my food thingies the unprofessional way. I know there's people out there that does all the professional stuff. I'm going to do it not so professional. You'll see my mistakes. And hopefully some of the people out there will see my mistakes and give me ideas on how to fix them. So one of the reasons you do this is so you can learn. That's why you do a YouTube channel is to learn. Learn how to edit, learn how to film, learn how to cook, try things that are new. So let's do that. Oh, I need to make sure my thing's up. I'm gonna put it on my oven so it can warm up a little bit while my oven's heating up. And then I'm gonna go have some dinner while I'm waiting for that. Then I'll put it in. And then I'm probably gonna go film some cookies upstairs because I'm gonna make some millionaire cookies next. And that'll be another video, so. And some of my other upcoming videos. I have a couple of them. It's Christmas, so I should get a lot of interesting failures. If it fails, I'm going to put it up. I don't care. So, hopefully it won't. Sometimes even the failures still taste really good. Like, where was it? This one? This is my last one. This is just the sourdough. It had rosemary in it. I love it. I love the rosemary. But it's slightly not done inside. I probably need another 5 minutes, but the crust on the bottom is really done, and it's thick. It's really kind of not really rock hard, but almost rock hard. Get in frame, but it tastes really good, and it's not quite doughy, but it almost is. It's only needed probably a couple more minutes, but the bottom was saying it was done, and same with the top. Because, the top was looking really good, starting to get a little brown, but the inside was. So that's what sometimes that's what you learn when you're trying, because a lot of times these recipes are done in different channels. You're doing a thing they're not in your house, they don't have your equipment, and things might be slightly different, or you just forget certain steps. So that's always fun. I did that with some sourdough biscuits. I think I missed a step somewhere, and they were really good, really flaky, but they didn't rise. And they're more like really thick, buttery cookies instead of biscuits. So sometimes you win and sometimes you have tasty mistakes. So hopefully this one will be perfect and not just a somewhat tasty mistake. Hopefully it's not a complete mistake because I've had to throw out something before. So, all right, let's get going. Okay, we have one very hot Dutch oven. And we are going to let's put this up here. Woo! Yeah, it's sizzling. Oh, let's not put that where anything is great. Water conducts heat. Go figure. Okay, we're going to put our bread in here. I'm going to use the one that doesn't have the water on it. Put that back on there. And this is going to get really dark. There's a little paper on there, but it'll be fine. As long as we don't forget it's in the oven, nothing should go wrong. So we're going to put this thing back in the oven. And it's at 450 for 20 minutes. And then we're going to bring the temperature down. I'll probably just bring it down to 425. And we'll see what it looks like after that. I should probably get multiple since I got that one wet. Let's put that in here. All right. We'll put that on there. Make sure it's the right temp. Yeah, just above 450. And we're gonna, like I said, I have to adjust it. It's not perfect. I'm still kind of figuring it out. I know I could probably do it and figure it out perfectly and do it, but this isn't a cooking channel. This is a figuring stuff out channel, doing new things. So I'm gonna show you how I figure stuff out. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Hey, that's that is warm. Go figure, hot pot. So yeah, I'm gonna do it at 450 for 20 minutes. I'll put that on, and then I will take the lid off and lower the temperature. I'm gonna do it by 25 degrees because it is kind of a lower temperature to begin with, instead of the 500, and then bring it down to about 425, and then put it back in there for another 20 minutes with the lid off. And hopefully that will do it this time. Hopefully we'll get the right temperature this time. At least for me, like I said, if you're doing new stuff, I could probably don't have to. If you're doing new stuff, you probably don't, you might need to adjust it as well. But if you're doing it off of the preppy kitchen, he does his at 500 in a Dutch oven for 20 minutes. And then he reduces the heat by half to 450 and does it for another 20 minutes. His comes out just right. I have an old oven and a very thick Dutch oven, so I don't know. You play around with it until you get the right temperature and the right color and the right doneness for you. Like I said, when you're doing these things off of YouTube, sometimes they come out perfectly and sometimes they don't. And you might have to play around with it. Doesn't mean something's wrong. It just meant, you know, his works better. He's probably been doing it longer and understands it a lot better than I do. So we're gonna see how that works. I'm gonna put 18 minutes on because I've been talking for 3 minutes, and we will see what it looks like. I didn't put any cheese on top of it because it does have the cheese in it, and I know I could put some cheese on top of it as well. I know a lot of breads, they do that, but if it's sitting for like 40 minutes of cooking, I wasn't sure how that would look. I could probably put some cheese on it at the 20-minute mark, but it's got cheese in it, so I don't think it needs it. And sometimes it just gets messy. And it's like, if it does go bad, that was the first part that goes bad. So I'm just going to leave it as is. We'll try that first, and then next time maybe I'll add cheese on top and see what it did. Maybe I'll do some smaller loaves or something like that. Some sourdough rolls instead of big breads, and see how it works. Anyways, that's why you're experimenting. Let's see it next time. Okay, we are back. Let's see. And now we're going to take the lid off of the Dutch oven. I think I flopped it too much. It kind of fell a little bit because I flopped it too hard on the thing. But that's what it's looking like so far. I might have to adjust the heat on it again. I might just leave it at that temperature. Like I said, kind of learning. I probably should have kept it about 475 and just gone down 25 instead of 50. But we'll see how it turns out. Okay, let's see how this turned out. Like I said, I think I left it in the fridge too long, or didn't have it covered or properly, so it kind of dried out a little bit. And then I flopped it on there, so I think I lost some of the air on it. Ooh. Ooh, oh yeah, this looks good. I'm gonna take this up. Oh yeah, it sounds. Oh yeah, that sounds good actually. And oh, I wish this had smell-o-vision. It smells so good. See if I can put that over here, and I will take the bread out and give you a gander, and then I'm going to pull down, and I'll come back later, and then we'll do a cutting of it, and let's see if I can get this thing out without burning myself. Now, it is a little bit on the flat side because I like flopped it out too much, so make sure but it's still a decent width. You probably would have done a little bit better had I not treated it so harshly, but oh, I can smell the green onion in there, and it has a little thing, so it has spread out some, and that's pretty good. And then we were gonna let that cool down, and then I'll cut into it, and we'll see what it tastes like. Okay, let's see if this thing turned out any good, any better, any good. It smells really good. It sounds like it's done. But I also put a lot of cheese in it and the other stuff, and it kind of fell a little bit, so hopefully it smells really good. Hopefully it's all done inside. Let's get you a little down here. Okay, let's see. better knife. Ooh, it feels like it's a lot better. Like the bottom part isn't hard as a rock like the other one. I can actually cut through it. A little bit of cheese. Now, let's see. Ooh, not bad. It's still hot. Probably needed a couple minutes. Is that dough? Now, I think it needed a couple minutes, but all an experiment. It's almost there though, so I might want to change the temperature slightly up a little bit more, but yeah, the bottom part is not as overdone. It tastes really good though. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to adjust the temperature slightly. It's better. It's not really gooey. I also kind of cut it when it was still warm. It's really good. You know, I could do this perfectly and have it uploaded and have it done perfectly, but this channel is an experiment. I'm supposed to try different things. And I could show the perfect end product, or I can show the learning experience. The green chili and the cheese in it is really good. It has good flavor to it. Jalapeno and cheese in it would probably be good too. But probably because of the green chili and the cheese in it, there's a little bit more moisture content. So I might need to do some adjusting down the road, but it's almost there. Alright. Oh, thank you for joining me in this Pynn's test kitchen. And well, I kind of do the ball thing. It's not really doughy, but I also kind of flopped it down and everything. But almost a full success. I'm almost there. So a couple more trials and errors, and probably not cutting it when it's still hot would be good. But I am impatient, so all right. Thank you for joining me. I will see you next time, and go out there and try some different stuff and film it. See you next time. I love you all.